So I will get into the topic of this video in just a minute. As you know, there are times that I want to talk about 2 different subjects or 3 different subjects in a video. This is a blog, so in a blog you talk about bloggy things. It's actually a vlog. The other day, a couple days ago, I told you that I painted the wood stove. I'm telling you, it is beautiful. It was rusting, as I said in that video, and I didn't know if it would last the rest of my life with the way it was rusting. We thought we'd try to preserve it as much as possible. I'd rather not have to buy one for the rest of my life. So we bought this high temp paint, and it worked out really well. At the end of this video, I'll put an up next box to the video that I showed you all the details of this. I was concerned that once we lit it, that something would go wrong. I mean, this is the first time I've ever painted a wood stove. One of the things I was worried about is in the instructions it said for the first 3 burns after you paint it, it will smoke. So this morning it was a little chilly, but Carolyn was asleep, the cat was asleep, and I didn't want to smoke them out of the house while they were asleep. Well, it was getting about 6:30, and I could see Carolyn was kind of waking up a bit, so I went ahead and lit the wood stove. I figured it would take half hour or so for it to heat up enough for it to start smoking, and it never did smoke. There was a little bit of an odor. I don't want to call it a smell or something that stunk. As a matter of fact, when we first put this in, we did the first burn, Carolyn was still putting up the pallet wood. The house wasn't finished, is what I'm saying. We weren't even living in it, and I didn't know how to light it. We had wet wood, and it was challenge, but I was outside hanging metal roofing material onto the walls, and it was cold outside. So I was hoping it would warm up in here so I could come warm up and then go back outside to work. It was frustrating. I wasn't getting it lit. Well, finally, it lit, but I didn't know it. I was outside. Carolyn's in here working, and I come in, and man, it was just so nice in here. It was just like a blanket of warmth. And occasionally, I still feel that blanket. It's different than a furnace. This heat is just, it feels different. But it also had that smell, the smell that we had this morning. And I like the smell. I don't even think Carolyn complained much about it. It's just that newness. It's kind of like a new car smell. It doesn't smell like a new car smell, but it's kind of like a new car smell. And it's something that was really nice. So it looks like it held up. Now, you're not going to be able to see it in the camera. I can only see it when I hold a flashlight up to it. But the paint lightened in color wherever it got really hot. So over here on the side, it is I know, like I said, you're not going to be able to see it. It's a lighter color, the top portion of this, than the bottom portion. So my assumption is the wood stove got hotter at the top than the bottom. It's not terrible, and only when you hold a flashlight can you really see it. I would imagine, I didn't have the heat in it very hot because it's not very hot outside. So we just put in small timber. But I would imagine in the wintertime, as we get this thing with bigger fires and longer burning fires, that the color should even out. And heck, it may even out with the next 3 burns, like they said, 3 burns. We've decided if we ever have to do this again, we won't use the spray paint kind. We'll get the paintbrush kind, and we know we'll get the brush marks on there. We understand that. But there was so much overspray, and it just caused black dust everywhere. We figured having the streaks isn't as big a deal as having this dust all over the place. But heck, this paint may last another 10 years, who knows. Okay, so in that video where I was talking about the wood stove, I also at the end of the video was talking about self-defense. And I've always been reluctant to talk about the way we've established self-defense around here. Here's that. I shot a hole in it. I always do that with pressurized cans because we burn our trash. And if one of these cans ever got put into the trash by accident, it would pop, and it's quite frightening, especially when you're down there. So I had it laying on the ground like that, and I just barely missed the nozzle. I was shooting in front of the nozzle, ended up hitting right here, and it veered off to the side. And this is called stove bright. I've always been pretty reluctant to talk about my self-defense because I don't want everybody to know what I got so they can come out here and harass me. I mean, I've got a lot of haters on YouTube. Don't know why. I don't know if all YouTubers have this many haters. I know YouTubers have haters, but I've got some pretty vicious haters. haters that are trying to destroy my channel nonstop, haters that call the police on me. And I hear about people getting called, you know, the SWAT, when they SWAT someone. Mine's different. They are trying to get me arrested. I guess it's not quite as bad as trying to get you killed, but I really do think those are pranks. These aren't pranks. I have haters. So I'm always thinking about how to protect myself from haters, and people will tell me, well, you need to get off YouTube. Well, YouTube's my job, and with any job there are downsides to it. This job is nice. It gets to keep me on my property. I like being on my property. I don't want to have to go and work for an employer. It doesn't make a ton of money, but it makes enough that we can survive and have no worries in life. And that's what I've always wanted. I've always wanted to be rich, and now that I have this, I'm rich. I have no concerns about anything in life. Car breaks down, I can fix it. And you take Carolyn to the hospital like we did a few days ago. And we don't have a lot of money. I like that way. But like every job, it has a downside. This is a dangerous job, just like being a police officer. It's a dangerous job. There are just some vicious, mean people out there who want to destroy you. So I try not to talk about self-defense, but on the other hand, living off grid, it really is something that we have to address. And so I've talked to you about different things about how I defend myself. And I'm a big fan of 22s, the caliper. Easy to practice with, very cheap to practice with, and when you're on YouTube, you don't make a lot of money. You need something that you can practice with, and it needs to be versatile. I need to be able to hunt a squirrel and still protect myself from the most dangerous animal on the planet, humans, at the same time without going out and spending a fortune on all kinds of different firearms. I have a shotgun. My dad gave me a shotgun, 12 gauge, and it's kind of a Rambo shotgun. He got it from a friend and he gave it to me. It's just been passed down. But it does shoot pretty nice. I really enjoy the way it shoots. It doesn't have a stock, so you got to hold it like this. And I thought the first time I would shoot that, it would just throw me back. But it was pretty easy to shoot, even though I wouldn't have never bought it myself. In a tiny house, I'm able to put it underneath my desk, right next to the bed. And if somebody comes to the door, I can just easily grab it. Of course, I keep all the guns close to the bed. I got the 22 hanging up in the house, close by, and then I have my 22 pistol on the desk. Now, I've been watching these preppers, and everybody's freaked out that there is a ammo company. It's not a company. It's owned by the Army right here in Missouri, Lake Area Ammo. It's owned by the Army and ran by Winchester. Winchester contracts being able to produce the ammo in that facility. But it is owned by the government. And its primary mission is to supply the military with ammo in times of need, but they don't want to have to lay off all these employees every time we're non-war. So they sell the ammo to the public. All these preppers are saying that the government has canceled all private contracts. So they're only supplying to the military now. Then I watched a YouTuber who owns a gun store. And I have no reason to disbelieve this guy. He says, I'm still ordering. He says, I really think this is a rumor. I don't think this is a big deal. But of course, you know preppers. Preppers have got to sit there and just scare you to death. So one prepper said, for every gun you own, you have to buy 20,000 rounds of ammo. So go out and get it now. 20,000 rounds of ammo for every gun you own. Wow, that is expensive. I'm glad this guy is rich. So I'm going to defend myself a little bit differently. One, I'm going to buy 22s. Yes, 22s can go up in price, but I would rather spend $50 for 500 rounds, which is what I buy my 22. I buy Blazer ammo. It's produced by CCI. It's a very popular 22 ammo company. Before, when I owned regular firearms, men's firearms, I had 357s. And that's what I try to always do, is have the same caliper weapons, but just in different varieties. So I had a 357 rifle, so Magnum rifle, which is a handgun round. And I had 357 revolvers. So I could literally go hunting for deer with the 357 on property like this, you know, short range property, 50 yards. And then you can carry that 357 Magnum revolver for any follow-up activity you might need. It was good to carry around on the property. I wouldn't carry it for self-defense unless you open carry, which I'm not a big fan of. I know other people are. I'm not going to get into that debate. But either way, loading 357 Magnum rounds was extremely easy because you don't have to be that accurate with it. The powder levels don't matter that much. What I noticed was I wanted to underload my 357s because in the revolver, if you had too much power, it became a lot less accurate. Now the rifle didn't care how much of a load. Smaller, large loads in the round, the rifle handled it quite well. So I reload my own ammo. I still have my reloader. I left it up at Mom's because when we moved here, we didn't have a lot of room to put anything. But now we have this big camper. I do have some place to put it. So I might eventually go get that and set it up in there. But again, I don't have anything to reload. But if you're going to spend thousands of dollars on ammo, it would make more sense to go get yourself a little book and a reloader. It's not that hard to learn. It's pretty easy. You read the book, and the book tells you how to reload every type of cartridge. And you get yourself a couple different dies. I had a 357 and a 30-06 die. I even went to gun ranges, the conservation area gun ranges, ran by the state, and I would dig lead out of the mounds. You know, they always have mounds of dirt behind the target area. And you dig that lead out, and then you bring it home and smelter it yourself. You get yourself a little die and you could make your own rounds. So it became pretty cheap to reload. Much cheaper than buying ammo all the time. It's such a waste. The other day in that video, I was talking about, I've been in two situations recently that deeply concern me. I wasn't in a situation where I needed to use deadly force. I would have had to fought the guy, and one guy was huge. And the other guy, what I did was I put my hand on my back. I made it obvious that I had my hand on a firearm. And he backed off, but he wasn't going to back off. It would have been a slaughter. I would have been slaughtered. But if I'd have shot him, I'd have been in trouble, because when a man fights another man, you can't use deadly force. Now, the size of that guy, he was huge. I might have been able to claim disparity of force. I'm a pretty small guy, but I don't know. I mean, either way, I'd have been arrested if I had used deadly force. Whereas if the guy would have pulled a gun on me and I just was able to use deadly force, the police around here, by law, can't arrest you. So I needed something else. So we decided that I was going to carry pepper spray. And in that video, I decided I wasn't going to tell you what kind it is. I don't sell things on this channel. But after a lot of comments, I realized maybe I should have said something. This is sold by a company called POM, P-O-M. There's a YouTuber who advertises this a lot. That's how I figured it out. So this doesn't even expire for 4 years. Now, a lot of people say, oh, you got to replace that every 6 months. That's no good. No, this is pretty good stuff. It expires October 2027, so it's 4 years. I've been watching different videos on this stuff, and it will put you down. Now, there are some people who can resist it, but that's with anything. I mean, it's a better fighting chance than me trying to fight that guy with my bare hands. Well, in the comment section, people kept saying different things that they use. Like I said, one person said, I don't buy pepper spray because it only lasts 6 months and you constantly be resupplying it. Well, then you go to POM, P-O-M, and buy that. Another one was bear spray. Now, bear spray comes in a can about this size right here. Well, where the heck am I going to carry this? It ain't going to fit in my pocket. I don't understand the purpose of carrying bear spray in town going to the grocery store. The other thing, I was watching a lot of videos about bear spray, and bear spray puts out a huge mist. So if you're spraying that in a store, you're going to put everybody down. And I don't know what the liability of that is, affecting people who aren't bothering you. Now, there was one thing that came up twice, and you got to realize this is illegal. You cannot use it. Is wasp spray. I just, matter of fact, watched a video from 2 lawyers that are on YouTube, and they was talking about wasp spray, but I have always known it's illegal. Wasp spray can cause physical harm. If you get it in their eyes, it can blind them. Get it in their mouth and down in their lungs, it can kill them. So now you have applied deadly force to a situation that was not deadly. So unless you have disparity force, like a guy attacking a woman or an old man, 62, 65, you can't use wasp spray. So again, why not just carry the OC spray? That's what it's called, OC spray, pepper spray. And it fits in your pocket very discreetly. You just flip up the lid like this, put your thumb on it, and you spray it. And it's not that expensive, and you're not at risk of going to jail. Look, even if you're wrong and you spray someone with pepper spray and the police want to arrest you, it's a lot better to go to jail for a couple days because you sprayed pepper spray than going to jail for the rest of your life. So that's some of the self-defense thoughts that I have. So if you click this up next box, take you to that video where I was talking about this pepper spray and that wood stove. So I hope I can inspire you to take your self-defense pretty seriously so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.